So I think everyone always wants to know everyone's story. People are nosy in general, but you start making these claims that you are the baby guru, and all right, you got to back it up. So let's back it up. Let's rewind. Let's just go back and figure out how this all started, and I can share a little bit of kind of, where it all came from. So I'm English. My whole family is English, and I came here as a teenager. I was teaching children how to swim in England, and I wanted to be a physical education instructor in the Royal Air Force, actually. And I was too young. They told me to go away for a year. So here I am. I've been here a long time, definitely a lot longer than a year, and I came here as a nanny. So I tooled off down to London and got a 1-year work application and came here for a family and stayed with that family. They had two small children, a baby, and they had a 2.5-year-old, and I stayed with them for 2.5, 3 years, I think it was. Um, Obviously, going back after a year, and that's kind of where it all started, I suppose. It was just kids, and then kids swimming, then turned into kids being a nanny, and then I went into the restaurant business after that. So I went into service and kind of learn what service was and what it looked like, and how good service can look and how terrible service looks, and et cetera, et cetera. Then I met my husband, and we were having a baby. I was still pretty young. I think that this is actually kind of where some of it starts as well, is I was still pretty young. I was 24 and having a baby. And I kind of felt that, I don't know, that tone sometimes that it's like, oh, too young, shouldn't be doing it. But that was my decision. And we had a boy, and we had our son. And in my shopping experiences at that time, I didn't feel great about. I would walk into stores, and it was either I felt the too young program, or no one seemed really happy for me to be having a baby. And I was kind of confused because it was me who was doing it. So really, quite frankly, why couldn't people be happy? So it didn't come off really well. I was hoping to have like a nice experience where people were happy for me and wanting to help me, and share maybe their experiences, et cetera, et cetera. So after having my son, immediately I was on the quest to open a store and provide a place where people could feel safe to share, and people weren't judged for any reason whatsoever, and have great service. I decided I wanted to take all my passions, and I was my nose was probably extremely put out at that point, that I had been treated in such a terrible way, and I didn't want anyone to feel that. So we opened a store. It actually did secondhand. So we had a secondhand store. It was in the beach area, and it just grew from there. So the store grew from being a secondhand only, and it was a tiny store. It was maybe 500 square feet, and a lot of love and energy went into this, and it just grew and grew and grew. So it went from secondhand to new and used, to just all new, and I ended up with a dream that came true, really. At the end of the day, the whole philosophy was to treat people equally, treat people with respect, and not to judge people for what it was, how they had gotten to where they were and having a family. It's of no one's business. And I have to say, it truly is no one's. I've seen it all. I've done and helped the 16-year-old who's had a baby, the 50-year-old who's deciding to have twins by in vitro. It is a spectacular smorgasbord of people doing this amazing journey in so many different ways. And it just keeps coming. It's incredible the choices that people make, from age to, I don't know, to how many children they're going to have. It's fascinating, but it is the best journey. And I've been a part of that journey. And when I closed my store, now as of this time, it's like 5.5 years ago. That information was in my head, was with me. That need to kind of still help people was with me. I went on to own a business that did basics for children, basics in clothing, toys. Did that for 10 years. So started it in my store, and then continued for 5 years past the end of my store. and then did some consulting. I've been consulting and doing business consulting with other fantastic, courageous, fabulous retailers who are the bravest people in the world to own businesses and put all this energy into this. And now this is it. This is now my turn to kind of throw myself back out there and help you, the people going on this amazing journey, to try and pass on my wisdom, pass on some truths, pass on, all the goodness that can be had from this, and hopefully stop you stumbling in some areas. I've had 2 kids through my journey, 2 beautiful children, and quite frankly, it's the best thing ever in my opinion. So however you're deciding to do it, who you're doing it with, why you're doing it, you go for it. But we are here for you. The Baby Guru is my way of giving back to you for being on this amazing journey of life. You are giving life. How can that be beaten by anything? So that's why I claim what I claim, and I'm here for you, and hopefully you will jump on this train and go along the tracks with me. This is just one of dozens of Baby Guru videos to help you with your product choices and planning. Follow me on Instagram for daily news and reviews. For any questions, either DM me or email me at info@thebabyguru.ca.